caravan, it was more like a circus train without rails. All that was missing were elephants and a carousel. "I'd think you'd have become accustomed to this by now, General." Turning in the saddle, Mike saw that his aide, Christopher Long, had come up behind him and was now almost alongside. "I think a grin like that on an adjutant's face when addressing his commanding officer is probably a court-martial offense," Mike said. He wondered if he sounded as sour as he felt. "I still have the occasional daydream about a lightning offensive. We even had a name for it where and when I came from. Blitzkrieg." His other aide, Ulrich Dürr, had ridden up in time to hear his last sentence. "Blitzkrieg, is it? Lightning war. Ha! No wonder those stupid German descendants of ours lost most of their wars. Went charging out without proper consideration of what it takes to keep the supplies coming." He now looked at Long. "Have you noticed, Christopher, that our commander is always disgruntled at the beginning of a campaign?" Long smiled. "Oh, yes. I've come to expect it." Mike was about to make some retort, but was it true? Was he really that predictable? He thought back on previous campaigns. Well, maybe. After the first one, anyway. Well, after the first day of the first one. "Remind me again why I don't ban all camp followers," he said. "First, because the men would probably mutiny," said Dürr. The cheery tone in which he said that was surely a court-martial offense. Court-martialable? Mike wasn't sure of the proper usage, which just went to show he was still a civilian at heart. Carefree, happy-go-lucky. "We'd have to hope they'd mutiny," added Long, "because if they didn't, they'd soon enough start dying of hunger or exhaustion or disease, or any combination thereof. On account of there'd be no one to feed them or keep their clothing reasonably clean," Dürr continued, still sounding cheery. "Or tuck them in at night and sing them lullabies," Mike grumbled. "This sort of bitterness really doesn't suit a man as young as you are, General. Look at me, much older than you, I am, not to mention properly scarred in a soldierly manner." He held up a crooked forefinger, which hadn't healed quite properly after being broken at the Battle of Ostra outside Dresden. Dürr had several scars on his body which were actually more impressive, but they were covered by his uniform. And besides, he was inordinately proud of this one. He'd defeated an enemy cavalryman in hand-to-hand combat, even though his injury had forced him to fight left-handed. Mike had had his own adventures in that battle, and quite splendid ones at that. He'd had 2 horses shot out from under him, not 1, 2, but he'd come out of it quite unscarred, at least bodily. Whether he'd come out of it unscarred mentally as well, too soon to know, he thought. He didn't think he'd developed PTSD so far, if developed was the proper term to use. He'd have to ask Maureen Grady the next time he saw her. She ran the Department of Social Services and was probably, no, almost certainly, the best psychologist in the world. Having settled that issue to his momentary satisfaction, he went back to grousing about what really bothered him on this sunny day in April of 1636. Is it really too much to expect an army to move faster than an old lady with a walker? "Is a walker something like a cane?" asked Christopher Long. "If so, the answer is yes. A competent crone can out-hobble any army in the world." "Taken as a whole," Dürr qualified, "a detached cavalry unit could certainly run her down. Flying artillery also." Had he cross-checked that last assertion with the commander of the 3rd Division's flying artillery, Dürr would have gotten an argument. Lieutenant Colonel Thorsten Engler, normally a calm and phlegmatic officer, was having as close to an apoplectic fit as such a man could manage. He was even swearing a little, at least by Thorsten Engler values of swearing. Only under his breath, though. The actual swearing was being done by a lieutenant whom Thorsten was observing, since it would have been inappropriate for the commanding officer to deal with the problem directly. You miserable cruds!" Angrily, the young lieutenant pointed at the wagon's undercarriage. "What in the name of whatever is wrong with you? Can't you see that the axle is broken? If you keep forcing the horses, you'll lame one of them. You have to lift the damn blasted thing out of the ditch." The lieutenant was being a bit unfair.